Next, we have Orion Central Manager, which provides a bird's eye view of the entire Orion deployment for an organization. Now, it aggregates data from all the probes that you might have of Orion, Orion OTT, and present them in the information in a stage-wise manner. Now, this is important from a root cause analysis perspective, as a problem sometimes which appear on the end device level might have originated earlier in the workflow. So this becomes very important when we talk about fault isolation. Now, next, I would like to talk about our latest offerings, which utilize our artificial intelligence and machine learning based engines. And these solutions can really help to automate certain tasks which are predominantly being done manually in the industry as of now. These have been developed to bring in cost, effort, and time savings, especially if you consider the volume of contents to be really huge. Now, first among these is lip sync. What it does is identify the audio video sync errors. Now, if you have an active speaker on screen and you notice that the audio uh, is either leading or lagging the video, so these are the types of error which we call lip sync error. So the lip sync solution can detect these in an automated fashion. Next is captions, which can, in an automated way, help you complete the entire workflow related to captions, like generation of captions and the time codes, then QCing those captions, reviewing them, and also correcting the errors that are found. So captions can help you with that entire process. The third product in this suite is Vino, which does the content classification. Now you can identify pieces of content, let's say with explicit scenes, strong language, violence, among other use cases. And these results can then be used by your teams for further processing, like editing, etc. Finally, for the debugging part, we have Vega, which is an offline analysis tool. It goes to the pixel level and helps you find out issues with audio and video, and it supports all the prevalent formats in the industry, like HEVC, H.264, AV1, VP9, and also on the audio side, all the Dolby formats, etc. So it supports all the popular formats that are there in the industry, including the ABR related formats like MPEG Dash, HLS, etc. I would like to mention that in today's time, video quality is very crucial to monetize the content, and it makes a big differentiator to drive customer satisfaction and also retention. That's why in all our products we have features that help you address the quality related issues and improve productivity and also efficiency. Now, next slide shows some of our customer logos. Obviously, we could not fit all of them in due to space constraints, but you can see that there's a healthy mix of telemedia companies, broadcasters, pure play OTT companies. So we are working with some good names across the globe, be it Netflix, Amazon, and APAC, also some organizations like Astro, MediaCorp, and others. So, and as a closing remark, I would like to reiterate that all the solutions that we discussed in the last slide, they are all available on cloud. And with this, now I would like to hand it over to Manish for the product PPT and demo. And also during the course of this presentation, if you have any questions, please feel free to post them through the Q&A section that you can see at the bottom of your screen. And we would try to take them all after the demo. So Manish, over to you, please.
Okay, thanks, Dipanshu. Hello, friends. Welcome to the webinar. Those who don't know me, my name is Munish, and I work with Intera Systems in application engineering team, and I uh, help our APAC and Australia, New Zealand customers with their technical queries. Now, to start with, let's have a quick go through of the media workflow for the live channels. You could, relate to it. Any broadcasters or turnaround providers will either have playout servers generating the live feeds, or they would downlink feeds from the other broadcasters for processing it in their headends. These feeds are processed in the compression or the headend chain. Here, IRD output signal is mostly in transport, and mostly it is SPTS, or in some cases it could be MPTS, which is a multiple program transport stream. In typical cases where the head ends are quite older, people might have SDI signals as well. The output of the IRD is transcoded by the live transcoders and the ABR transcoders for conversion to the ABR formats. And then, while doing this process, normally people would add EBP like encoder boundary points or equivalent markers for the packaging. Since entire content is transcoded in the head end, the chances of introducing the errors in this stage are pretty high. Now coming to the ABR transcoders. Now these transcoders, when they convert the content, it is finally passed on to the packagers. And here the content is packaged to formats like MPEG-, HLS, and other OTT formats. And it is then made available at the origin server as HTTP links. From here, it then passes on to the CDN and further to the end device. As I said earlier, these stages have a potential to introduce errors, and hence a need arises to monitor the content after each of this stage. So for example, any EBP alignment issue which is introduced by the transcoders in the head end, it might lead to misalignment of first frame at the origin servers in the content, and eventually when an end customer views the content on a set-top box or a handheld device, his experience is not very good. Now, from Intera systems, we have tools to monitor your content as it proceeds from the acquisition, like from the where you generate your transports to the end devices as well. For your transport streams, whether you are using IP based, ASI based, SDI, or even SDI over IP nowadays, Intera systems Orion can be used to monitor your content for both quality of experience and quality of service. And this is something that we will discuss in detail today. It is very important to monitor the content over here, because whatever errors that gets introduced in these stages are propagated to later stages, and they might have a higher impact over there. Origin server onwards, Intera offers a module called as Orion OTT Content Monitoring Module. This module monitors QoS and QoE of both live and VOD OTT assets at a region server, and same thing can be deployed at the CDN edges as well. Apart from this, Intera systems, it also integrates with third-party vendors like Ubora to fetch and analyze the QoE related parameters from them, since they have their SDK installed on your players. Now, on top of all these point probes, we have something called as a Orion Central Manager, which basically fetches and gather information from all the point probes and provides us an end-to-end monitoring view and a single dashboard for correlation of the errors. Coming back to the Orion now, which is the topic of the day. Orion, it's a software-based application which is available on Windows and Linux platforms. It monitors transport streams on ASI, SDI, and IP, including SDI over IP as well. Broadly, it does very detailed and comprehensive IP and TS monitoring checks. That includes your priority checks, it includes your network jitter, and other errors. It also performs audio video quality checks on your content. So basically, if you have problems in your content like black frames, frozen frames, or audio is too loud, or audio silence exists in your streams, those can be monitored and reported accordingly. It is already 4K ready and supports the codecs like HEVC as well. It can monitor various markers for add insertions, encoder boundary points, EPG data in the transport streams, and also has the ability to monitor your closed captions and subtitles. It keeps the monitoring information in its database for analysis at a later point of time. Also, real-time alerts and the recording of transport can also be done as and when there are any problems. These recordings are used to do detailed debugging of your problematic transport stream at a later point of time, especially in the cases where your setup box or the decoder might have failed to play the TS. So such recordings are very important in the live scenarios. Otherwise, debugging such cases is really very hard. Now, if you see the entire flow of the media, here on the first stage, you can see Orion, it is basically monitoring the content right at the preparation stage. If you detect errors here and fix them, you can prevent them from being propagating to the next stages. And like we said earlier, in eventually it improves the end customer's experience. A glimpse of the supported formats and the protocols. It covers all popular and non-popular formats being used in the similar workflows. Right from MPEG to transports to the DBB, ISDB, all these compliance are already supported. If you talk of the audio video codecs, you can see all formats are already supported here, be it MPEG-2 video, H.264, or even the latest one, HEVC. And all of these codecs are supported for all resolutions, be it lower resolutions like standard definition, high definition, or USD or ultra high definition 4K channels. It is already, it does already have support for all of these resolutions of videos. In terms of audio, it has it supports monitoring for MPEG-1, MPEG-2, AAC, AC3, and all other audio formats which are used in the streaming media. It does support monitoring of closed caption subtitles like 608, 708, DBB subtitles. In some cases, people might use teletext or XDS data as well. So all of these can also be monitored. All these feeds can be monitored over UDP, RTP, and various versions of IGMP. Orion has been designed taking into consideration that it will be used to monitor hundreds and thousands of channels simultaneously. Having said that, one can start with the smaller setup to monitor a couple of channels and scale up gradually as and when the monitoring requirements grow. Same setup can be used to monitor transport streams from multiple points as well, provided all those points are accessible from that setup. So for example, if you have a Orion setup in your head end and you want to monitor output of IRD, then output of your transcoders, and even the output of your multiplexers, all of that can be done using a single setup as well. With OCM coming into picture, like Orion Central Manager, one can monitor the Orion probes even if they are located in different locations. So in some cases, it is very common nowadays, people would have, couple of their streams at maybe broadcasting center 1 and couple of streams running from the broadcasting center 2, or they'll have their disaster management sites. In such cases, you can have your different Orion probes in different locations, and Orion Central Manager, it integrates and fetches information from both points, and it helps you to manage everything from a centralized dashboard. So overall, moreover, its architecture is designed in such a way that one can distribute the components of Orion over multiple machines. That ensures easy scalability as well as reliability for the 24/7 operations. Since monitoring is very critical nowadays, so that reliability and 24/7 operation of the monitoring services is also very important. So, in a nutshell, Orion provides a comprehensive uh, video and audio quality monitoring for your transport stream. It offers tools not only for the problem detection but also helps in locating the source of the issue. Sorry, and hence very useful for debugging. It does very in-depth audio video quality monitoring and the analysis and provides quality of experience scores as well. It is designed taking into consideration for the requirements of all the knock and monitoring guys and also the head-end engineers as well. Cases where users are monitoring at multiple points, Orion Central Manager further makes it very easy to do the end-to-end monitoring of the live channels. This makes life of the knock team very easy as they can pinpoint to the problematic areas at a single glimpse. As it aggregates the monitoring info from all the monitoring probes and helps in the correlation. It also provides a real-time update for all the issues and have a mosaic view for doing the confidence monitoring as well. So for example, if you see overcompression or blockiness problems in the end device or at the setup box, you can know it before hearing from your customers whether that problem was introduced from your ABR encoders or the problem was at the downlink feed or the feed from the broadcaster only, or it was introduced at some other stage. So this is how it helps you to pinpoint the problematic areas. Moreover, managing the multiple probes via OCM is very easy as one can do a centralized monitoring using it. Both these products, whether Orion and Orion Central Manager, they have now built-in dark theme, which has always been the first choice of all the knob guys since they uh, work in low light conditions. OCM, again, it's a software-based product only, and it's available on Linux platform. Being a software, it can be deployed on a virtual or even a cloud instance. So all it needs is a good connectivity to your monitoring probes for fetching the information. Now, before we jump on to the actual user interface and see the demo, I would quickly talk about the new features available in this release, especially for our existing customers. So you'll be glad to know that Orion is also now supported on Linux platform like our other products of the Orion family. Moreover, it is now deployable on virtual platforms as well. As the industry is moving away from conventional SDI and prefers SDI over IP nowadays, we have already added the support for the same in the product. Based on the request received in past from couple of our customers, where they would not want to register maybe free-to-air channels or low TRP channels for monitoring for 24/7, we have added a support for round-robin monitoring. So such low criticality or maybe your disaster recovery sites channels, you can choose to monitor them on a round robin rather than doing a 24/7 monitoring for them. It does as a check to provide service availability score as well. So not only the quality aspect, now it also gives you a score of your availability of the services. Apart from that, it has now checks for the combinations of audio and video issues. So for example, rather than generating an alarm when only black frames are detected or freeze frames are detected, you can now sorry, you can now choose a combination of error reporting only when their black frames are persistent along with the silence in the audio, or similar for the freeze as well. It also has integration with the LDAP directory, and like I discussed earlier, dark theme is also available here. Let me now take you to the user interface of our product. To start with, I'll do a quick recap of Orion Central Manager, which provides you a customizable dashboard with various dashlets. All of these dashlets means you can choose whether you want to keep those dashlets here, or you can delete them from your own dashboard. Now, the dashlets that we have over here are the availability histogram, which provides you a summary of overall availability of your programs for selected duration. As you see on the screen, I have selected it for 1 hour. So over here, it's giving me an information like 6 channels were available for 100%, whereas one channel was, the availability was lesser than 99, like between 95 to 99, and another one between 90 to 95. Then we have also plotted the alert categories against error channel, which shows us, for example, 4 channels had priority TR 101 to 90 issues, and one channel had video quality issues. All of these links are clickable, and if you click here, it will pop up a screen and you can debug the errors. Next, there we have alert categories versus alert duration. So here you can see for the last 1 hour, for how long did this error occurred or it persisted. So on clicking on any of the errors, this is how the window pops up, and you can actually see to which stage does this error correspond to. So for example, these are pre-transcode. The pre-transcode is like all the downlink channels, output of the IRT. So it has the location from where the error has been triggered, the start time, the end time, and the status, whether the error is still persistent or the it has recovered from the error. Then it has other dashlets which shows you the worst performing channels over specified duration in terms of the availability score and in terms of the quality score. Also, you can see the channel alert status, like how many channels are running, are being monitored right now, how of how many of them doesn't have any errors, how many of them have major minor issues or critical issues or even outage. So these color codes are consistent throughout the product. So we use this dark red for the outage, this purple shade for critical, shades of yellow and orange for major minor, and if you see anything in green, it means that is there are no problems corresponding to that particular error. Uh, Scrolling down, you can see here uh, we have uh, we have this map view as well, which shows you your probes on a map. So basically, if you see here, I have one of my monitoring it going on in our Denver office, and another monitoring deployment is in our London office. And we have plotted it on the map. Here we can see like whether the problems are occurring in which particular geographical location. And on the right side, you have this stage status, which shows us whether the problem are at the pre-transcode, post-transcode, or other stages like at the origin server or at the edge. So these are some of the dashlets that can be generated. Let's now move on to the live monitoring view in the OCM. So this interface here, you can see list of all channels that are being monitored end to end, and this can be used for your confidence monitoring. You can project it on your monitoring wall. Here on the top, you have these alert indicators corresponding to the different stages where that channel is being monitored. Using the same color codes, we are using here as well. So let's have a look on this channel movies channel. So as and when a error is detected on any of the stages, the alert indicators change their colors depending upon the severity of the errors. On the right side, right bottom of these thumbnails, you will have a overall service availability score as well. These alert indicators are also clickable, and if you click there, it pops up your report. Like here, you can see there are some TR101 290 priority 1 errors in the post transcode stage, and the service was also unavailable at the post transcode and the origin stages, and the status is still active. So problem is still persistent. You can further click here and see all variants which are affected for that particular problem. So coming back to this UI, you also have a overall timeline view with list of all the errors. So for your past duration, you can actually hover your mouse and see whether there were some problems in those areas, and further these links are also clickable as we have just seen. Lot of times people, they are not interested in looking at all the channels that are being monitored, rather they want a penalty box or a error window. So this particular tab, it does that only. So here you will see list of or thumbnails of only those channels which have active alerts over there. So we call it as a error window, and normally people call it as a penalty box as well. So you just saw one of the channel, it got added over here because the error was detected there. Other options that are available in this viewing are the overall alert summaries for your channels. Like this is the channel list for last 1 hour. You can see what are the alerts in those channels, what are the corresponding stages, whether it's coming from the edge or the post transcode or the pre transcode with the location listed. Then we have the location view as we discussed in the dashlets. Like you can plot all your locations on a map and monitor them on a graphical view as well. In the workflow view, all errors are plotted stage wise. So you can see all your stages here like pre-transcode, post-transcode, origin, and edges. In my case, I am monitoring at 4 stages. If you are monitoring at more stages, you will see that much number of stages over here. And at the bottom, you can see most erroneous channels corresponding to all of these stages. And every channel will have its availability score and the overall quality score plotted against it. And this one is the error second. So overall, if you see in last 1 hour, this particular channel had 1044 error seconds over here. These much seconds of the total content had some errors. Further to drill down, like I said, all of these links are clickable. You can click there and drill further. Next, here you have the probes view, and you can see the probes which you have integrated. These are the error probes, and if I go to the all probes, here I will see list of the all probes which are available. Now let's click here on the head and probe and go to its user interface from here only. So if you see the user interface of this probe, it has its own dashboard. Similar to Orion Central Manager, you can create your own dashboard. You can customize the existing dashboards. So I'm just showing you different dashboards that we have created. You can also customize the dashboard as per your requirement. For doing the confidence monitoring, one can use the live monitoring view as well. Let's go there and see what does it offer. So here you can have two views. One is the service at the service level and another one at the feeds level. Let's go to the feeds first. Here you will see a feed level view of the entire monitoring. You see name of the transport streams that uh, you have registered. These feeds could be SPTS, single program transport stream, or MPTS. Then you have the monitoring status, whether the monitoring is going on and for how long you have been monitoring it. So for example, this stream has been being monitored for last almost 2 hours. Another feeds are being monitored for around 86 hours. Over here under the service indicators, you can see how many services are contained by this stream, and those are also color coded. So like 4 streams have some critical or the outage issues. The next indicator shows there are 2 streams where you have some warnings. One stream has no error. It also gives you the actual bitrate and the mux bitrate, like the encoded bitrate value in your transport. As stated earlier, it supports all formats like DVB, MPEG-2 transport, ATSC, and others. Then your average packet interarrival time, that is also shown on this interface as well. Here under alerts, you have alert indicators corresponding to whether those errors are from the transport level, whether they are corresponding to the IP levels, like the IP issues like jitters or packet loss. If there are any problems with a particular service contained by that TTS, the service indicator will change its color. Then we have a quality of service indicator here, which changes its colors as and when the QoS score goes down. You can reset your indicators, whether the overall indicators are only for the priority checks at any point of time. And the other 2 indicators that are available on this interface are for the MPEG packet loss and the priority checks. So this is a high level summary. Now, like I said, the entire tool has been designed on a drill down approach. So to further drill down, you can click here on the name of the transport stream only, and it will open a very detailed information of the transport stream. On the left side, you can see various details like this is the my multicast IP and the port number, monitoring status, actual bitrate, mux bitrate, what type of transport is it, what uh, protocol is being used, like in this case it's RTP, and other relevant informations. The summary view over here, it provides you a overall summary of your monitoring on a timeline. Every block over here, it represents the information for the 5 minutes. So all these names that you are seeing on this left side where I am hovering my mouse, these are different channels which are contained here. Let's open one report. For example, this channel named as people, you can see there are some warnings, and on expanding, we could see these warnings are coming from the MPEG-2 video. Again, these links are also clickable. When I click here, we can see there are some black frames and add the corresponding time code here. Since the monitoring is happening in live, as I said, you can also tune your system to trigger auto recording the erroneous portions. These recordings can be done even at the elementary level or at the transport level. If you further drill down, it shows you the corresponding thumbnails where the error was detected. So moving back, so this is a timeline view, and on the right hand side, if you see, you have your IP issues on a high level, then the transport summary, and your priority issues like priority 1, priority 2, and priority 3. Next tab, next to summary is the QoS monitoring. So it gives you a QoS score on a scale of 0 to 100. So as and when the score goes down, it gives you the error messages. Like in my case, the PTS repetition errors, it caused a deviation of the QoS score from the 100 point. So it basically monitors your overall health of the transport. Coming to the IP stats. So over here, if you see, here it monitors the overall RTP packet losses or out of order packets that have arrived on your capture interface. In my case, the transport is being captured on a 10 gig card. So you can see the details of my card over here. And right now, there are no issues which have been reported. However, on the right hand side, you can see all these network jitters and packet interarrival times. These are being plotted on a graph, which is being updated in a real time for this transport. Coming to the transport stats, here if you see, we on a high level, you have a service overall count for how many video feeds are there, how many audio feeds are there, how many tables are contained, and you can also click there and sort and see those particular tables accordingly. The view that you see here provides you various options, whether you want to group your feeds by services, or you want to see all feeds, or all feeds, all video feeds or audio feeds accordingly. And you can also uh, sort your feeds based on your bit rates, based on the errors that you have received. All of this can be done. Let me open details of a particular chat service. So this is one of the service. If you see, its video feed is coming at 51, audio feed as 52, and the corresponding errors in those portions are also shown here. Here is the PMT for this service. This is the summary, and also you can go to the table syntax. So here you can see the details of the information that are present in the PMT table, and also you have the raw data from this table which is present here. You can view your other DBB tables also from this interface. So like I've opened one more PMT table, and the similar interface is present here. This is very important, when you are actually tuning your mux stat mux. So you can view which PMT or which particular feed is performing well, which feed is having any problems. So all of this can be monitored from this interface. So like I said, the tool, it not only does the job of a monitoring probe, but also has the ability to do a deep analysis of the live transports. So very handy tool, especially for your head-end engineers. Coming to the bandwidth over here, here the bandwidth is monitored for the services at the services level and at the PID levels as well. So again, very important while doing StatMux or tuning your multiplexers. Next is the table repetitions. So sorry, over here it will, the alert indicators, they will change your color as and when there are any repetition errors in the table. So if the tables are not periodic or there are some issues with any of the tables, the alert indicators will change their color, and then you can further drill down to reach the errors. Next is the service view, where you get to see list of all services corresponding to that particular field, and you can see their thumbnails and lot of other information. Now I will quickly move on to the service view from the interface. So, our service view, you can see list of all the services which are being monitored. Similarly, you have alert indicators corresponding to the transport, video, audio, and the data like closed caption and the quality of experience monitoring. You can also switch to the mosaic view from here. Also, we have provided a wallboard view, which is preferred by the knob guys to project the interface on the monitoring wall for doing a confidence monitoring. So over here, you get a high level summary of how your different services are performing. We have done a pagination here, like the indicator over here, it's showing there are some problems on the next page as well, the services which are shown over there. Let's go there and see. So here there are some channels are being monitored, and for this channel you can see there are some audio alerts which are coming. To further drill down, you can click here on the channel name itself, and it will open a detailed monitoring report of a channel similar to what we have seen for the transport. So here you have the summary view corresponding to this particular service. Then you have quality of experience score. So also here, apart from the QoE score, we also have our MOS score for the video and audio, and which will change as and when there are any problems. The Service Explorer, it lets you to view the PIDs corresponding to this particular service and how they are performing. Then it has various graphs that can be accessed to view the bit rates, overall PCR, the PCR accuracies, and PCR intervals. In case your services have any ad insertions or SCADI35 data, that can be monitored here both before splicer and after splicer services. And if you click here, you can actually view the data that is contained by your SCADI35 markers. Also, especially for your ABRs, or when you have multiple variants of a channels, you can do a consolidated monitoring for the ABR groups, where you can actually see whether your iframes are consistent or not, or your encoder boundary points are coming at the same point or not, because this is very important, especially when your same feeds are going for the packaging at the later stages. Now this is this is about what all we monitored. Like I said, all of these monitoring checks can be configured in something called as a profile. In a profile, basically it provides you list of all the checks which are available here, and these checks are categorized in different sections like applicable to transport, applicable to video. In a particular video, if you go in video quality, you can see there are different checks like black frame checks. You can enable these rules. You can specify rules like if black frame it occurs and persists for 5 seconds, report it as a major. If it occurs and persists for a longer duration, report it as a critical or an outage. And accordingly, as and when an error is occurred for different severities, whether it is outage or critical, you can send email alerts, you can send SNMP, you can trigger audio notifications, or you can start the recording of the fields. So all of these reports, all of these monitoring profiles, they can be tweaked from here. Now, like we said initially, like it also keeps the monitoring information in its reports. So it keeps all the historical reports which can be accessed from this reports section. So here you can filter down the alerts based on some time, like for last 1 hour or last few hours. You can specify the transport streams or particular channels for which you want the alert summaries, and then simply click here. It will generate a report which will tell you on a pie chart like how many issues in terms of the priority charts and the other section. And on the right side, you actually see the error distributions. Like there were some priority issues, there were some video quality problems, and all of these are further clickable, and you can drill down to the root cause. If you see here for video quality, so there were some black frames and the blockiness, which is like over compression issues, which were encountered in the last 12 hours. On the bottom, we have a outage, we have a timeline where you can actually see your different errors plotted, and further these links are clickable for the better debugging. So like there are black frames, you can drill down, go to the particular error, you can actually view the thumbnails as we have seen earlier. Then coming to the study 35, like I said, you can also monitor all the problems which have encountered in your ad insertion monitoring. This is dedicated to that. You can view all your IGMP related uh, you can also monitor your IGMP related information in this interface. Here, basically, whatever communication happens between your OS kernel and with the capture interface can be seen over here, and you can further click here on the message type and actually see the communication and the data that has gone out. Right, then ABR is corresponding to the monitoring of your ABR checks. Other option here is to access all the historical recordings for the RNS portions that you have done. So this is on a high level how Orion and Orion Central Manager can be used for doing the monitoring of your channels in a live scenario. So I'll stop over here, and maybe now we can switch to the Q&A section and hear your queries and questions. And if you have any further questions, please feel free to type in your questions in the Q&A section. And if you need any detailed demos or want to have any POCs, feel free to reach us. We can conduct those as well.
Thank you, Manish, for the detailed information on both Orion and Orion Central Manager. I will take up some questions. So I think first we can take up because there are a couple of questions related to how the licensing works and also on the pricing. So for that, I would like to mention that in essence, the licensing is based on bandwidth. So as Manish showed, so if I talk in a simplified manner, we need to know the number of channels, their bandwidths, in addition to some additional pieces of information, which will help us reach the final number of bandwidth which is required, including the add-ons, and the pricing is then done based on this bandwidth which we have calculated. So for more information on pricing, we can definitely connect offline and take it up in further detail. Then Munish, I can see some questions. So first one is on the support for SDI. So it's to what extent can we support SDI signal compared to IP or ASI? I think it's regarding the part that you covered for SDI over IP.
So, like I said, SDI is already supported, and SDI over IP is also supported. We have already supported 26 in the product, and 21 is already planned in the subsequent release.
Okay, I think Munish, there is an echo from your side. So Vikash, are you there on the call? So if you can please
Yes.
Answer this particular question of to what extent do we have the support for SDI over IP in Orion?
Okay. So as far as SDI is concerned, since SDI are the raw signals, so we do not have to we do not have much to do in their container side. So only audio quality checks and video quality checks are monitored in Orion. So all audio and video quality checks which are supported for IP or ASI, like I can give an example, freeze frames, black frames, their combination checks, blockiness, video distortions, and loudness measurement, level measurement, silence detection, no signals, service availability. So all these different type of checks can be performed in SDI signals. And as far as the number of SDI signals is concerned, we have dedicated cards from DECTEC to capture these SDI signals. So depends on the model number of DECTEC cards. It varies from 4 channels to up to 16 channels. So varying from the different type of cards, the number of channels can be monitored simultaneously in one particular system. You can have multiple cards also in one system as long as the number of PCI Express slots are available.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Vikash. Then Vikash, next question is regarding the usability of OCM with Orion. So can we, since OCM is an umbrella view, so can we invoke Orion from OCM? And the next part is in how, if a particular customer has, let's say, X number of nodes, so how do we suggest that OCM should be taken up? Let's say if there are 2 nodes, 3 nodes, or more than that.
Yes, of course. As you see in live monitoring or in Dashlight, wherever you are seeing some issue in OCM, if the issue is coming from one particular probe, because OCM itself does not generate a unique error for them. Okay, so if there is some problem occurring at a post-transcode stage or pre-transcode stage, when you will drill down to that particular error, it will show you that, okay, so there is some black frames occurred at the pre-transcode stage. Further clicking it, it will give you the detailed information, which service, which state. Further, if you will click from here, it will take you to the exactly to that particular probe, that particular service location for more detailed analysis in that particular probe. So
right.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think yes, that covers the first part, that yes, we can go to a particular Orion probe from OCM. And the second part was in how many nodes, after how many nodes, let's say, it makes sense to have OCM. So I think if there are multiple nodes, it definitely makes OCM, as we have covered during the presentation and also during the demo, that it really helps in the root cause analysis and fault isolation. So if there are multiple probes, it really makes sense to go with the option of OCM so that the correlation can be done. And okay, I'll take up the next question. I think we can take one last question, that if we are using OCM, so is the error pinpointed automatically, or it's just a correlation engine? So Vikash, if you can please answer this.
Actually, sorry, it is because it is showing you in one particular view where exactly the error get introduced in your workflow. Like if the error is occurring in the post transcode stage, it is highly possible that that error may get propagated to the later stage, either will be on the CDNs or end device monitor. So if you will see some happiness score going down at the end device monitor, then on that particular node we have a view in OCM as well, where you can see that how what are the different errors which might cause that low happiness score. Like it may be due to some stalling issue, buffering issue, and those buffering issue at the end device monitor is maybe due to the service availability or some transport related issues at the previous workflow probes. So we have a correlation type of presentation also in OCM.
Okay, thanks, Vikash. So I think there are more questions, but since we are already up with the time, we will definitely try to reach out to everyone who has posted questions, and we'll definitely provide the answers. Meanwhile, if there are more questions, so as Manish said, please feel free to write to us for more information, and also for any further help you need for POCs, demos, etc. And also, just as a closing remark, so there are still a couple of webinars left on Winnow and Vega in the following days in this week. So please try to attend those also. And thanks a lot for taking out time to attend today's demo. So thanks Vikash.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye-bye.